There we go. All right, so we're live. Welcome, everybody who's watching. The no people that are watching, thank you for watching. But anyway, we can start actually recording this now. All right, 3, 2. You good, Dave?
I'm good, yeah.
All right, great. Olivia, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. All right, 3, 2. We're closing out our month of horror movie drafts here on Crossing State Lines. We've done the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and now we are in the 2010s, our second episode of the week. Third, unless you count Jeopardy, but those are kind of like bonus episodes. But again, I am joined by Dave Albiani. Dave, we don't know the results of the 2000 yet because the poll hasn't gone up, but I'm feeling good about your chances, Dave.
I think I'm going to get at least 40%. I don't know if I win, but I think I'll get at least 40%. I have a lot of movies that people are going to know, and I think they'll like.
I really like your chances. I do. You really had a lot of movies that your first 3 picks were primo choices. So I'm scared. But joining us for our 2010s draft is for the first time ever with Dave on the same podcast. She's been on here a few times, but the first time ever having Dave alongside. It's Olivia Peralt. Olivia, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course. And so, Olivia, I gave you 2 choices. One of them was the 90s and the other was the 2010s. So I'm wondering why you chose the 2010s.
I just feel like I've seen more like recently, like in theaters over the past like 10 years than the 90s.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I accidentally put Jake, Ken, and Olivia, and Ken's not here. But we will do the order as though Ken is Dave.
Okay.
So let me write down the draft order here. And the gods must have heard him because Dave is going first in this draft.
Boom!
Olivia, you have the second pick. I have the third pick. It's a snake draft, so I'll have 2 back-to-back picks. Then it'll go back to you and then Dave, and he'll have 2 picks, so on and so forth. It'll become more obvious as we go along. But without further ado, Dave, we pretty much agreed on the consensus number 1 pick for this draft, but what do you got?
Well, first I have a question as far as if a movie counts.
Okay.
Do we consider Get Out a horror movie?
Yes.
Well, then I said Conjuring the other day, but I'm gonna take Get Out.
Okay.
I think it's one of the best movies of the last 10 to 15 years that I've seen. It's really, really like thrilling. It's mesmerizing to watch. The acting's awesome. The script's awesome. The special effects are really cool. And Jordan Peele knocked it out of the park. This was the first movie he made outside of Key and Peele, and it was fantastic.
So, for the record, you want Get Out and not Us, right?
I want Get Out, yeah.
You want Us? Okay, I'll put it down.
Exactly.
Okay, so I do get it. And like I said, like Get Out, yes, there's controversy as to whether it's a horror movie, but if Silence of the Lambs is a horror movie and Seven's a horror movie, then Get Out's a horror movie. Like, I could have said no and then pulled a Beetlejuice like you did with me, but we're not going to get over that. We're not going to get into that. But Olivia, you've seen Get Out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic. Like I understand why you would take it number 1 because it's a fantastic movie in the same vein as like Silence of the Lambs. Like it's not just a great horror movie; it's a great movie.
And it's also, I think, because it's a draft, it's going to get a lot of people's votes.
That's true. But you might get those sticklers who say it's not a horror movie, like when Ken didn't vote for me because I picked Jaws.
Jaws is most definitely a horror movie, too. That's an absurd take.
Emily says no.
It scared people out of going in the water for like 10 years.
That's true. It might be a generational thing where if you see it when you're older and you're like, well, it really doesn't scare me. Yeah, that's what Emily says. But like back then when you saw it, if you were like, in your early 20s or like you were an adult and you were a kid or whatever, whoever saw it back then probably was scared crapless. But anyway, so Dave takes first, Get Out. So Olivia, you have the second overall pick. You can take anything but Get Out.
It.
The first It? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why It?
So I actually saw it before I saw the old one, so I was like super impressed.
I do like the new It. I don't like the old one so much. I think they should have broken it into 2 parts the first time.
Yeah.
It's just too long. I do love Tim Curry, but I mean, it's just too long. The new ones, Dave and I are among the few people who liked It Chapter 2.
No, I loved It Chapter 2 also.
So I'm glad we're all in a safe space right now. I liked It Chapter 2 a lot. Saw it twice actually. Uh,
I don't get the hate for it.
both times I thought I was gonna pass out during the strobe light scene in the funhouse. But I definitely think the first one is definitely the better movie. It's better paced, it has better scares. You know what to expect a little bit more with Pennywise in the second one, but the first one, like Peter Skarsgård is like, I'm sorry, not Peter, Bill Skarsgård is a genuinely horrifying Pennywise, and all the kids are really, really good in it. So it's hard to take a book that's like what 900 pages and make it into two 2-hour movies. But I feel like they did a pretty good job with it. So yeah, I can't blame you. It's on my big board here, so I would have taken it well.
I don't normally get scared too easily, but I definitely jumped at the jump scares in that.
Oh my god, that movie scared the crap out of me. Fun fact about that, and I know Emily will never let me live it down. A couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when it came out, or excuse me, I think it was 2017. I think it was 2017 is when it came out, and Emily, her sisters, and her sister's now husband, we were looking for something to go see. And I was like, why don't we go see it? And they're like, oh, no, I don't want to see it. It's a horror movie. Like, oh, no, my friend posted, Jeremy Dawson, friend of the podcast, posted, oh, it's not that scary. Like, it's pretty good, not scary. It's like, all right, cool. So we went, and I don't know what Jeremy's tolerance for horror is, but it's much higher than mine, apparently, because that movie scared the crap out of me. But, yes, it is a good choice. So I have back-to-back picks here. I am going to...
I know what the first one is, yeah.
Well, Dave obviously knows my first pick is The Conjuring. Obviously. The Conjuring is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. I don't know if I'll end up picking it, but Insidious is also up there. Insidious absolutely scared the crap out of me. And it's mostly because, like, I really don't like when you use already creepy songs in a creepy atmosphere. So when they rolled out Tiny Tim's Tiptoe Through the Tulips in that movie like 4 times, it just really unnerved me. But we're not talking about that. So The Conjuring, I saw in theaters whenever it came out, August 2013. Really good movie, a really good movie overall, but also a very strong. Oh, Steve is in the chat now. Steve's going off. He goes, Steve, FYI, Paranormal Activity did not come out this decade. But I agree with you that Insidious is scary as all hell. But that being said, The Conjuring, great movie. Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, fantastic. It's got obviously the clapping scene in the dark stairwell, that like witch that comes out of the closet or whatever and like attacks her, is like on top of the bed, and it's got so many good, like, jump scares are really overdone, and especially now in horror, but they found a way to make it really, really good. So Dave, off the top of your head, who directed Conjuring? Was it James? It wasn't James Wan, was it?
I thought it was James Wan.
I thought it was too. Okay, he's like the master of new horror movies anyway. He did Saw, I believe. And I think he did Insidious too, the first one. But the Patrick Wilson horror universe of the 2010s, pretty much entirely him at this point. So The Conjuring is my first pick. Dave, can you guess my second pick?
Conjuring 2.
Yeah, I'm going to take both Conjuring movies. I'm going to corner the market on The Conjuring. Really, what do you think my second pick is?
Your second pick is Us?
No, my second pick is The Cabin in the Woods.
I thought that was... I was between Us and The Cabin in the Woods.
So The Cabin in the Woods, obviously you've seen, Dave. Olivia, have you seen The Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah.
So The Cabin in the Woods might have the best third act of any horror movie I've ever seen. Like, it's a really good movie before that too, and it's a really good spoof on like all these slasher movies, especially like Friday the 13th and whatever. But it's a fascinating concept that like all these horror movies are derived from somewhere else. Like, they have to exist to like please this god or whatever. But they have these people, Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford, fantastic in this movie. All Bradley Whitford wants to do is see the merman, and the merman's like this hideous, disgusting creature, and he ends up getting killed by it.
That's hilarious.
But one of the greatest scenes of the 2010s is the scene where all the elevators open in Cabin in the Woods. They're all down there trying to like take care of the issue, and then you hear it gets quiet. You hear the ding, 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 and then all of a sudden the elevators open and all hell breaks loose. It's such a cool scene. I love it. I've watched it on YouTube a billion times, and the movie itself is also very, very good. So Conjuring and Cabin in the Woods. I had a couple choices there, and I'm sure neither of them are going to make it back to me, but those are the two I felt most comfortable starting with. So Olivia, it's back to you.
I think I'll take Annabelle next.
Just the original Annabelle?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to ask because there are 3 of them. There's Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, and Annabelle Comes Home.
Yeah. No, just the first.
Olivia's latest Halloween costume was Annabelle.
Yeah. So, I feel like that's fitting because that was my costume for today.
And I've actually never seen Annabelle. There's something about creepy dolls that just doesn't do it for me. If I do it for me, I don't want to see it because it scares the crap out of me.
See, I love it for that exact reason.
I get it. Like Chucky was campy, so it was different, but Annabelle's like just straight up freaky. Like,
and there's like a legit Annabelle doll in Connecticut. So
yeah, it's also real. Yeah, it's like Child's Play. It's like, oh, that's funny. Like, imagine if, but like Annabelle's like, no, it's real. Like, it's a real creepy cursed doll. I'm all set with that. But Annabelle she's teased in The Conjuring, right? Like, I feel like they allude to it.
I believe she is, yeah.
Yeah. Because there's that whole Conjuring universe is like teased in The Conjuring because they go to that place with all the cursed items. That Conjuring is the house is based on now. And actually, Emily, I forgot to mention that house is based is in Burrillville. It's really a house. It is really a house. That wasn't the best way to phrase it. But yes, it is a real place, and so is Annabelle. She's real and real freaky. I think also the big difference is like Chucky like talks and his face moves, and Annabelle's face is just the same.
Yeah.
Like it's a doll that's like 2 feet tall. Like I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that thing. No, thank you. They keep it in a glass case for a reason.
I love it. It's just so eerie.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have the creepiest lineup so far. Like Pennywise and Annabelle.
That's me. Well, that's what happens when you work at a haunted house.
Have you done a Pennywise costume yet, Olivia?
Oh yeah, I did it. I think when it came out. Did it come out in 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I did.
Did it come out? No, it came out the year after that clown craze, right?
Oh yeah, remember that? That was a time.
Yeah, I remember my friends were freaking out about it. I'm like, oh, whatever. Like I lived in Hope Valley at the time, and those who aren't familiar with Hope Valley, it's pretty like rural and open, and like nobody lives down there. Shout out Steve Scott, who's watching right now. Or maybe he's not anymore. But we said Conjuring 2 is scarier. I don't know. We'll see about that. The old It was a bitch. Thank you, Steve. Bill Skarsgård was a freak. Steve just dealing in takes tonight. I love it. But anyway, yeah, no, I like it. Annabelle's a good pick. So Dave, you have back-to-back picks. Where are you going?
Oof, it's tough. I'm between a few. I'm gonna take Hereditary with my first pick.
You mean Midsommar, right?
I definitely do not mean Midsommar. That's terrible.
So I've got you down for Us and Midsommar so far.
That would be a losing lineup. I like Hereditary. I don't love it, but I know a lot of people really do love it, and it is very unsettling and unnerving to watch. It's just really, really strange, and Ari Aster is directing it, obviously, so it's gonna be that way.
Yeah.
But like the whole family, it's just like very eerie, and you're never really comfortable in the theater just watching it, let alone like absorbing what they're trying to put out on the screen. My second pick, I think I'm gonna take A Quiet Place with my second pick.
I knew that wasn't gonna make it back to me.
That has, I think, one of the most terrifying scenes I've ever seen in a movie in the bathtub when she's given. Yeah. That is absolutely terrifying and just completely. There's no word for that. That acting is incredible. Emily Blunt's incredible to do that. That is, and apparently she did in one take too.
I'm not surprised. She's a class act,
which is literally just like give her all the awards. Like that is just the most ridiculous scene.
A Quiet Place was a tough one for me to sit through, not because it was scary, which it was, but I'm a loud eater in the movie theater. So crunching on my popcorn, that was not enjoyable for the people around me, I'm sure. But I waited for the loud parts to my best ability. When that waterfall came on, I just scarfed down all the popcorn I had left. But it's scarfed down all that popcorn as soon as I could. But it's definitely got its flaws here and there, but it was a huge surprise when it came out. Like people didn't expect it to be as big as it was, and it was very good. I forgot they were making a sequel that had to get delayed because of I don't know. I can't remember why it got delayed. Maybe something happened, but it obviously got delayed. But I forgot they even made a sequel to it. Honestly, I'm sure we'll see that at some point. But Quiet Place, the first one, great movie, definitely. So Hereditary and A Quiet Place. Dave definitely going the more cerebral route here. So I'm interested to see what the results come out of the poll there. But Olivia, it is back to you.
I think I'm gonna take The Woman in Black.
Oh my god, I love The Woman in Black.
I love that. It's so like I don't know. It has that like vintagey vibe of like I don't know, like the spooky house and like the what do they run through? Not like the mud, but like the
It's like a bog or something, like a swamp.
yeah. It's just like spooky. I love that stuff.
I saw that movie in theaters with my friends, and
Theaters.
I had to give. There was an exchange student from Iceland who lived with my friend,
Mhm.
and she took my sweatshirt and put it over her face, and was like, my other friend was hiding underneath the sweatshirt too because they were so scared of it. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, this movie is scary, but I definitely think so far Olivia's got the scariest lineup. Like if you're gonna pick based on what movies are scariest, Olivia's definitely got it down pat. Because like obviously The Conjuring is scary, but Cabin in the Woods is more campy than it is scary. Like there are definitely some frightening scenes, but it's definitely more tongue in cheek than anything.
That's what I've been to like 3 haunted houses this season and no one scared me. I like genuinely want to be scared.
Boo. Did it work?
Sorry.
Didn't work. All right, so it is back to me. This is interesting. Where am I gonna go with this?
There's a lot of depth in this decade.
There is a lot of depth for sure. People really underestimate this decade. So I'm going to move to a movie I have not seen, but I know gets very revered. And that is The Babadook.
I was gonna take that.
I was gonna take that.
Yeah. So The Babadook it's just honestly I just want to say The Babadook because it's a fun name. But it's another one. It's more down the road of what Dave would take, which is like a more cerebral, like deep thinking horror movie. And don't get me wrong, The Babadook is terrifying. Like I've seen just still images of it, and he's pretty freaky. But it's a deeper tale. You guys have both seen it, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay, I have not seen it, which kind of sucks that you guys didn't get to take it. But I'm the only one who hasn't seen it. Who hasn't seen it, but from what I understand, Olivia, Dave, it's definitely like a real thinker of a horror movie.
Yeah, it's definitely more like psychological.
Yeah. But definitely has its scares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really jump scares to it. It's more just like it just slowly breaks you down.
Oh, like that scene though where she's driving and like bees take over the car or something. Like that's to think of that. You gotta have a mind that's really out there to think of that. Yeah.
Spoiler alert for those of us who haven't seen the movie.
Oh, it's not important scene. It's fine.
I don't care. All right, my second pick is It Follows.
That's a good pick.
Which I feel like 4th round value. That's really good. Another movie I have not seen, but it is another scary concept that like the ghost follows around the person that like it infects or infests, and then like it jumps from person to person, like host to host, and there really is no way to avoid it. It's a really scary concept, and in the 2010s, their horror is so out of ideas that it's really fresh to see these new concepts come along, and It Follows is one of those big examples of that.
I love It Falls. I just saw it for the first time this month, actually.
Dave's horror movie bonanza.
It is. Yeah, it was part of the horror movie bonanza. Still going strong. I'm at what 29? What is today? The 29th?
Yep.
Yeah.
At 29.
Hell yeah.
I watched one today, so
got to get to it.
I know. All right, I got to.
But yeah, so Babadook and It Follows are my 2 picks there. So Olivia, we swing back to you.
I think we're gonna go with Insidious.
I love it. Would have been one of my next picks.
I haven't seen it in forever though, but I just remember it being scary.
Olivia, I'm not even lying. Like of the 5 drafts we've done, this might be the scariest lineup yet. Like all of these movies, I haven't seen Annabelle, but the other 3 have scared the crap out of me. Like it's almost like you did Oppo research on me, and like are just trying to get to like the core of what scares me most. Because like all these movies scared the crap out of me.
I love it. That's the goal. That's what a good like horror movie is.
In Insidious, where what the old woman is doing, like trying to like feel out like what's going on, and she opens her eyes, and the red devil is like behind Rose Byrne. Oh my god! It's still emblazoned in my brain.
Yeah.
And then the scene where like Patrick Wilson astral projects and like goes into his kid's dream and like tries to rescue him, and that like red demon is there, and that same stupid Tiny Tim song is playing, and it's still freaking me out. And then that twist ending where like Patrick Wilson got possessed in the end by that crazy devil woman. It's incredible. It's a great pick. It would have been one of my next picks if it did get back to me, but obviously Livia was sniping it, so it's a good pick.
It's one that sticks with you.
Absolutely. Dave, you're reeling. What do you got?
All right, I actually already have my next two picks planned here.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna take Green Room with my first pick.
Can I guess what you're taking after that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my God, it's such an oversight. You're gonna take Don't Breathe, aren't you?
I am indeed gonna take Don't Breathe.
I knew it. I should have taken that instead of It Follows. I knew it.
Sequel just wrapped too. They made a sequel, I guess. But
Don't Breathe 2. Hold Your Breath.
Don't Breathe 2. He's coming back to get the money again. But
so
yeah.
Green.
Both of these movies are probably classified more towards the thriller aspect, but they're both horror movies, obviously. I saw The Green Room actually this month for the first time as well. Really good movie. Very it definitely makes you think a lot, and it makes you kind of really stay into the movie and stay involved. There's not really any jump scares or anything. It's not that kind of movie. It's more thrilling aspect, and definitely the same as Don't Breathe. Although Don't Breathe, you can feel your heart racing during the movie when you're watching it, and you're seeing the kids move throughout the house. And then obviously, spoiler alert here, but when the kid gets shot in the head, it's like everything kind of changes, and all of a sudden, like your heart skips a beat, and you really don't know what's gonna happen after that.
Rest in peace, Anton Yelchin too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But who is it? Who else is in that movie, Dave? What other big person is in that? Not Patrick Stewart. I know he's in that. Who's the other person? The girl.
It is. Oh my God.
Is it what's her name from Arrested Development?
It's
Alia Shawkat. No,
Jane Levy. Is that who you're talking about?
I think so.
I think it's Jane Levy. Stephen Lang is the older guy, right?
I think so. But you know what's funny is I always hear Green Room and Don't Breathe like mentioned in the same sentence a lot, like two of the new age horror movies that people love the most. Imogen, yeah, it's Alia Shawkat. That's what I'm thinking of. The one from Arrested Development who plays Maybe. But Green Room I've heard good things about. Unfortunately, most of it's been spoiled for me, so that sucks. But Don't Breathe, I've heard extremely good things about.
Have you not seen Don't Breathe?
I have not.
It's on TV a lot, so you might be able to catch it this month.
Really? What channel is it on?
It's on like FX.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Because I was like, it's on AMC, that's for sure. But it's on FX. I might have to check it out.
Yeah.
Is it as good as Ghost Ship?
What's Ghost Ship? I've never seen that.
You've never seen Ghost Ship?
No.
Come on now. Julianne Margulies, Carl Urban.
No.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad movie. But that was like really bad. Actually, it would have been a 2000s eligible movie to draft, but it's terrible. I'm sorry, Olivia. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say I haven't seen it either.
It's really good. It's such a simple like thought as to how the movie works, but it's definitely worth your time. I think it's only like an hour and a half too. It's very quick.
If you had to say which one was better, Green Room or Don't Breathe, what would you say?
I would say Don't Breathe.
That's what I think most people agree to. Yeah. Yeah, Don't Breathe. I've heard really good things about it. I know it's got that kid from 13 Reasons Why, right?
Yeah, I think he's the main character, the main guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good pick. Both good back-to-back picks. I mean, 5th round, Don't Breathe. You're probably gonna get a lot of votes for that one. You got a really strong lineup. I know the only issue you might have is that a lot of people feel strongly about A Quiet Place and Hereditary against the movies. So depending who you get voting on it, you might lose some points there. But Get Out, Green Room, and Don't Breathe are 3 movies that are unanimously loved. So you can't go wrong there.
I don't really have any like natural scary movies though. Like I don't have any like classics. Like as far as like the slasher kind of jump scare type of movie, like Hereditary, they're all psychological or they're thrillers, really.
Yeah, that's true. You don't really have any slasher movies, really, or like any traditional horrors. But you know what? Olivia's got plenty of scares to be had. So what else do you got, Olivia? What's your next pick?
Well, speaking of traditional scares, I was gonna say Halloween.
I love it. I love it. The Halloween reboot.
Yes.
I gotta mark out Halloween 2018.
I feel like any Halloween movie is just like a must see.
This new one I was pleasantly surprised with too.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I was shocked. I know Danny McBride wrote it, and he's pretty good with horror. He's had a hand in a lot of movies, but I hope the next one is better than it looks, because that teaser was absolute garbage.
Did you see they did there was a new teaser today
For Halloween?
for the new one?
No, I didn't see it.
Or maybe not, but it showed a picture. Anthony Michael Hall apparently is playing Tommy Doyle.
Really?
Yeah. Anthony Michael Hall of Psych fame, Dave.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What was his name again?
Who?
The guy he played on Psych.
Oh, I don't remember now. Let me look it up.
Good idea.
We need Billy.
So Olivia, it says a lot that this might be the least scary movie that you've picked.
I know.
Like Halloween, you know what to expect, so it's not like overly terrifying, but there's still some really good scenes. Like that one that sticks with me is the two of them really. Excuse me, the one where he's walking through the house and you can see it from the outside.
Yeah.
And he kills the girl from behind. And then the other one where he's in the closet the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, you could say they're rehashings of old murders from the movies, but it's Michael Myers, man. They did well. It says a lot that, or a little, depending on who you ask, but it's probably, you could argue it's the second best Halloween movie.
Here it is, Harris Trout.
Harris Trout, thank you.
The guy's name was like
The latest in things not germane to this episode, but we needed answered, or else it was going to plague us the entire time, just mess with us the whole time. Thank you, Dave. But yes, Halloween. You agree, Dave? You could argue this is the second best Halloween movie.
I think it probably is.
No, I'm trying to think. I still like Halloween 4 a lot. I do love Halloween 4.
I mean, that's good, but I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I don't like the movies that kind of leave you with him like supposedly dead. Like the first one was really good because Michael Myers just wasn't there when she looked up. Like he can't die. Why are we pretending that he's gonna be dead? Like
and then Halloween 4, they blew him up and burned him to a crisp.
Yeah, like we can't keep doing this. Like we know he's not gonna be dead.
I said Halloween 2, right? Because that's what they did that in.
You said 4 for when they blew him.
I'm sorry. It was Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is when they blew him up and burnt him to a crisp. Mm-hmm. And somehow he and Loomis both survived that with minimal scarring. Don't get it.
He always comes back. He always comes back.
Always does. I mean, you know what the plan was for Halloween, right, Olivia?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you out there who don't know, what they were going to do was they were going to make an anthology series where they were going to do a different story every time. So at the end of 2, they killed Michael Myers, to everybody's knowledge. And then the third one, Season of the Witch, criminally underrated movie. Shut up, Dave.
Properly rated.
Shut what?
Properly rated.
Not properly rated. Underrated. Was a new story. People hated it because they called it Halloween and they expected Michael Myers. Not to mention they call it Season of the Witch, and there are no witches in it other than maybe a mask of a witch here and there, like from a kid. But then people demanded they wanted Michael Myers back, and like we said, I think it was either this last episode, I think it was the one with Brandon, or maybe it was the one with Mac. I can't remember, but there's a reason why Halloween's 4, 5, and 6 all have Michael Myers in the subtitle. Like, there's a reason why. So people are like, all right, we know he's in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God, because or else they wouldn't have seen it. But I would say this movie at worst is the 3rd or 4th best Halloween. So it's a good pick. I enjoyed it. Like Dave said, pleasantly surprised by it, and it's a good movie.
Definitely.
Faux show. All right, so it's back to me. My last 2 picks. This is tough. I got a few on here I would want to take. I got to take the Woman in Black off my list. I always call it the Lady in Black, but that's not what it's called. All right, so I'm going to start off with one that might be a bit controversial. But I did take Hot Fuzz in the 2000s, but I'm going to take What We Do in the Shadows, which technically is a horror comedy. It's about vampires, right? Taika Waititi, Jermaine Clement, great movie. Wish I had seen it, but I've heard good things. And I've heard the TV show is incredible too. But essentially, it's like a mockumentary about vampires and like how they like live their daily lives and all that stuff. But I love Taika Waititi, as Dave knows, as literally everybody who's ever listened to a podcast we've done knows. I love Taika Waititi. He's great. He's got a great name, got a great resume, and everything he does, everything he touches turns to gold. So, and this movie included. So, What We Do in the Shadows, and then my next pick, damn. Like Dave said, there's a lot of depth in this decade. So I'm trying to figure out what I want next. Do I want to go with a movie that will earn me a lot of like, international cachet? Or do I want to go with a movie that I think people kind of know better? Damn, this is tough. This is very tough.
Take Midsummer.
I'm not taking Midsummer. That's a nice try.
That is a lightning rod. People pick yours or they hate yours.
I am going to go. All right, hold on. I have to take it off.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Absolutely not. I'm gonna go with Train to Busan.
That's a good pick.
Which is a movie that came out, I believe, No, it was more than. I have to look up when it came out, but it's essentially zombies on a train. Which, I mean, that writes itself. It's international. It's on Netflix, I believe. So if you want to go check it out, it's on there. Like I told you, Olivia, at least half these movies I will have not seen, and I am at 4 out of the 6 that I have not seen. But what's important is that the people who are voting have seen them. So they will vote inevitably for those movies. But Train to Busan, I feel like I really didn't have a movie I loved here. Since I'm done making picks, I can say it. It was either this or You're Next was my pick. I didn't feel great about either, but both of them are kind of revered as modern classics. So I am going to go with Train to Busan as my last pick. Dave, have you seen Train to Busan?
I have not, actually.
Might be your watch tonight.
I haven't either.
It could. I've heard good things. I think there was a sequel that came out either this year or was going to come out this year.
I believe you're right, yeah. I feel like it came out a few years ago. One second. Let me Train to Busan. 2016, South Korean movie. But yeah.
Which means America will make a new one and they'll ruin it.
It'll be terrible. They'll star like Mark Wahlberg or some shit, and it'll be terrible.
Yeah.
94% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 72% on Metacritic for a horror movie is unbelievable. So, yeah, that is my last pick of this draft is Train to Busan. What We Do in the Shadows, Train to Busan. I'm sorry, What We Do in the Shadows and Train is to Busan. I wrote In Busan. What a moron. I don't know the name of my own movie. So, Olivia, you're back up with your last pick.
So this is one I haven't seen, but Us.
Okay. Yeah. You know what is crazy is Us is way more polarizing than I thought it was. I liked Us a lot. I know Dave did too.
I liked it. I just didn't love it. Like I really liked it. I just didn't love it.
Like people expected it to it's so unfair that people expected it to be like Get Out and as good, but Jordan Peele will probably never hit that height again. Like Get Out was captured such a cultural moment that I don't think it'll ever attain that level again. But I think Us is a very good movie. I think Lupita Nyong'o should have been nominated for an Oscar for it. She's fantastic in the movie.
I've heard great things about it, but I don't know why I just haven't seen it yet.
I will tell you, even though you haven't seen it, it definitely slots in your lineup perfectly because it's scary. It freaked me out, man. That movie.
A lot of haunted houses have like taken inspiration from it and like done weird things. So
it really got under my skin. I did not like the way that she talked was so off-putting, and just like the entire concept of these there's like one for everybody. So like there's a tethered for me and you and Dave. Like it's so creepy to imagine what that would be like meeting them. So. Also got one of the greatest uses of music in a movie like in the past 10 years, but I don't want to spoil it. So I will say though, you'll never listen to Good Vibrations the same way ever again. The Beach Boys song, not Marky Mark. But yes, so Us is a good pick. I like Us, and Olivia, you have solidified definitely the scariest lineup that any of us have taken. That's for sure.
Goal achieved.
Goal achieved indeed. So Dave, you have the Mr. Irrelevant pick in this draft. What do you got?
Oh man, I'm thinking here. it's tough because you're trying to gauge what you like, but also what would get some votes.
You're gonna take Crawl, aren't you?
No, I really do enjoy that though.
I know
Have
you
you
did.
seen that?
No, but you've asked me many times.
It's on Prime. It's on Hulu too. So
Do you know if do you know if Crawl's available to stream anywhere?
I don't think so. I'll take. Oof. I will take.
Never heard of that one.
I'm gonna take Your Next.
Yeah.
I
I wrote "You're in next" when I typed it back on this on the page. You're next.
was
Why-
between that and Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
Because I thought Conjuring 2 would probably get me some votes, but I like Your Next way better than Conjuring 2. It's such a good movie. It actually kind of fits in with what I have so far, which is basically just thrillers, and then Hereditary, which is just there's no real words for that. That's just its own genre.
Have you seen Your Next?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Have you, Olivia?
No, I haven't seen it.
I don't know what streaming service it's on, but
I think you have to rent it.
yeah, you might have to rent it, but it's very good. It's a thriller, and it's basically like a survival movie. Like there's a bunch of people in the house, and you're trying to survive from people that want to kill other people, and it's just mayhem, and it's just really thrilling and interesting, and it's like you get a really big adrenaline rush watching.
That's fair.
Cool.
I've not seen it, but it's definitely on my list.
Yeah, it's
What was it?
it's well worth it.
I bet it is. All right, so before we get into some honorable mentions, let's read off the list again. Dave, your list is Get Out, Hereditary, A Quiet Place, Green Room, Don't Breathe, and You're Next. Olivia, yours is It, Annabelle, The Woman in Black, Insidious, Halloween, and Us. Mine is The Conjuring, The Cabin in the Woods, The Babadook, It Follows, What We Do in the Shadows, and Train to Busan. So I do have some honorable mentions here. Actually, several. So it's a good thing we ran a little short on the draft. Mandy, I have not seen, but it stars Nicolas Cage, and apparently it is like the absolute like biggest fever dream ever. I haven't seen it though.
No, I haven't seen it either.
Dave,
I have not seen it either.
but I've heard great things. I've heard very good things about it. The Defunct Boxers podcast reviewed it. Very, very glowing review. Shout out to Boxers. The Witch, that's Anya Taylor-Joy. I have not seen this, but I've heard good things.
I believe that's like one of the top rated movies on Rotten Tomato for horrors.
Dave, might as well rename this podcast. Haven't seen it, but I've heard good things.
Honestly, we may as well.
But Dave, I know you've seen Sinister.
I have. I saw it the other day.
I'm surprised Sinister didn't get taken, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I considered it. Ethan Hawke's pretty good in it, but it wasn't great to me. I mean, I thought it was a good horror movie, but I thought there's a lot of like we said, there's a lot of depth in this decade. Like there's all different types of horror movies, and I don't know. It just to me, it's not really even close to the top of these other ones. I think we all took the top of the movies, top of the chain.
Yeah.
So
If I had more picks, I probably would have picked it eventually.
Yeah, if we went 8 deep, it would have gone taken easily. But
Ken Border, Jake, what a list. So good. We got to get you watching good movies. You know what, Ken? I'm glad that you appreciate that list, though. Yeah.
Ken, what do you think? Early favorite, who won?
I'm assuming, based on his comments there, Jake, what a list. If you don't believe me, that says Jake right there. And then right below it, what a list. That's incredible.
Yeah, but I think I won. So,
But was it as scary?
That's true. That's true. Ken says again, Ken emphatically, Jake. you did ask
Ken, what about me?
Jake. That is the follow-up comment from Ken. So Ken, here's the follow-up. Who won between Olivia and Dave? We'll wait a second. We're going to respond to that. Annabelle Creation also made my honorable mentions. That is the sequel, the second one.
Mhm.
I have not seen Annabelle. He says Dave. I'm so sorry, Olivia. Ken doesn't like being scared. What can I tell you?
It's
Ken
fun
hates being scared.
to be wrong.
Annabelle Creations, The Shallows. I've never seen, but I've heard good
Blake
things.
Lively, the shark movie.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
Well, you shit all over open water, so.
Okay, this movie was actually a little bit better than Open Waters. I didn't love it, but Open Waters was literally one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Dude, it's got a pretty good rating.
I know, but it's so boring. It's okay. So,
Ken said, I love being scared. How dare you?
but okay. So, Curse of La Llorona is probably one of the worst, and Black Christmas are two of the worst horror movies I've seen. But this movie, like, they're floating in the water for literally like an hour and nothing happens to them. How is that even possible? It's a horror movie.
Dave, I hate to break it to you and hate to cut you off, but Open Water came out in the 2000s. So even though I brought it up, we do have to move.
Yeah, but it's still terrible. So
that is fact.
I had to let that go.
Ken says, don't you challenge my love of horror movies. That's hot. I'm not sure what that's hot supposed to mean. Conjuring 2, as Dave mentioned, it was almost his last pick. The rare, very good horror sequel. Doesn't happen very often. Unsane, I've never seen, but Brandon Maxwell, friend of the podcast, loves Unsane. Talks about it all the time. That is a movie that was shot by Steven Soderbergh on an iPhone. But that's cool stuff. Crawl, Dave, take the floor.
Yeah, really good movie. It's about a hurricane that washes out some huge alligators, and they end up eating people, and they're trying to evacuate everyone. And there's this girl that goes back to try to save her dad, and she's stuck in the house with the gators that are floating around. She's trying to survive without the water rising and drowning her. So it's a good thriller. It's a really quick movie. I think it's only an hour and 20 minutes, but it was probably one of the better horror movies the last couple of years.
Dave had some audio issues there. Hope we got past them. Yeah, but we're almost at the end of the episode, so if you got this far, you're in it with us to the end. Gerald's Game. I've never seen this one. This is with Carla Gugino, I believe her name is. I only know Carla Gugino from The Night at the Museum.
I don't like this movie.
I've never seen it. I heard it's really weird, but well, you haven't seen it either, Olivia?
No.
No. It's based off a Stephen King tale, I think. I'm not mistaken. Dave?
Yeah, it's I believe it is, but I wasn't crazy about it. I know a lot of people love it, but I wasn't crazy about it.
Well, Stephen King, check him out. I'll put a link in the description. Under the Skin. This is the one with Scarlett Johansson that Brandon Maxwell has also mentioned. I have not seen it, but heard it's really weird.
He mentions this. He mentions that one a lot.
He does. He mentions that almost as much as Unsane. But Brandon Maxwell, we love you if you're listening. You know we do. The Loved Ones I've never seen, but I heard it's very scary. I know Ken, I think, has brought this up on his podcast, JKLOL. I think it was Ken that's brought this movie up. Or maybe was that on a list? Don't Breathe. Yeah, Dave took Don't Breathe, Ken. Victoria is a great film you missed. Oh, Victoria, that's right, Dave. Remember that one? No, Veronica. I think it's Veronica's the movie.
Veronica is the Netflix one, yeah.
Yeah. Veronica's supposedly like one of the scariest movies ever. Real good. Yeah, yep. Oh, so Ken was the one that mentioned The Loved Ones. Also, Ken, I looked up a list of the worst horror movies ever, and the first one on there was Martyrs, the one you brought up the other night. It was like a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, but you know what? I'll take Ken's word for it. I'm sure it's good. Maybe it was a remake of the original. I don't know. But anyway, Split. I put it on here even though it's not really a horror movie. It's
not a lot of shit.
I wouldn't have complained if you took Split. Upgrade. I've never seen Upgrade, but I've heard everybody's when they say Upgrade was okay, Ken, it was a remake. Thank you for clarifying. Everybody I hear talking about Upgrade says that Upgrade is if they made Venom a good movie, which I understand. Upgrade made our action-packed it, Dave, if you remember. There was a scene in Upgrade that made it. Didn't make it very far, but did make it. And the last one on here is Ready or Not, which came out last year with Margot Robbie. I mean Samara Weaving, who looks just like Margot Robbie. Have you seen Ready or Not, Olivia?
No, but all my friends keep talking about it, so I have to.
It's very good. Dave and I both enjoyed it.
That was another one that really surprised me. Like, it was a really fun movie. Like, it's a comedy-based horror movie. Like, it's a satire, and it's very creative.
I was a little bit underwhelmed. I did like it. I expected to love it, but I really liked it.
But that was only because we knew the reviews were really good when we went into it.
That's true.
We thought it was gonna suck. Then the reviews were really good, and our hopes went back up.
Yep. But those are all my honorable mentions. Dave Yoni.
Let's see. What do I got here? I mean, I put Midsummer on here. I hated that movie, but everyone seems to talk about it. It Comes at Night. Did we say that?
It Comes at Night? No, we just did It Follows.
Yeah, It Comes at Night's a good one. The Invitation. I put Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Lights Out. It Chapter 2. Happy Death Day, the first and the second, and then you already mentioned Sinister, but that's what I have on the list right now.
That's good. That's good. Olivia, do you have any honorable mentions that didn't get picked?
Did you guys see The Forest?
No. I did see The Ritual.
It's like about that like forest in Japan.
Oh, yes. Okay.
That's another like psychological kind of one. The Purge came out in the 2010s, right? I don't know what that counts.
Yeah.
I think all the Purges are in this decade, yeah.
Yeah. Ma.
I didn't see Ma. I don't think Dave liked Ma very much.
Yeah, I didn't like Ma.
I think that I described it as like a Lifetime movie on crack because it's just like
it's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous, but it's literally like a Lifetime movie.
Ken says here in the chat, Dave's honorable mentions are good. He loves It Chapter 2. Ken, thank you. No, I'm kidding. He hates It Chapter 2. Ken hates It Chapter 2. Oh my God, he hates it.
I love it.
He almost left the podcast the other night when Dave and I both said we liked it.
Oh my God.
I liked It Chapter 2 a lot. Oh, I don't know. People just don't like fun. What can I tell you? I'm gonna get a comment in 3 seconds about how much I'm wrong. But
oh, we also another one I just thought of. I watched The Hunt at the beginning of the month. That was really good.
Actually, Ken mentioned that.
Wasn't really good, but it was good.
Mention The Hunt. Who was the what's it? Betty Gilpin, right? She's the lead in that.
Yeah.
Glenn Howerton. Shout out. Dennis Reynolds. Shout out.
And the craziest thing is Emma Roberts is like she's in the trailer. She's in like a bunch of scenes in the trailer. She's only in like 3 scenes in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Wow. Well, there you go. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Where can we find you?
Olivia Pearl on Twitter.
Perfect. And Dave, where can we find you?
At David_Albiani.
I'm at Jacob_Morocco. This podcast is a CSL Podcast on Twitter. Our website is cslpodcast.com. The poll for this will probably go up on Halloween, which is spooky right there. So be able to go check that out, go vote in it, and have your voice heard. And we will see you guys next week. We're going to do a little Best in Show, Curb versus Veep. So be back then and have a nice Halloween. Enjoy the rest of October, and we'll see you in November. Let me just end the broadcast.